Okay, guys, welcome to the TOA webinar and the webinar series. This is our fourth webinar, I believe. Again, my name is Eric. I am a product specialist here at TOA, and we have an exciting one for you. This one's going to be geared at our integrators. So if you guys are integrators out there, please pay attention. This is going to be geared towards safety, AV installation, how you guys can stay safe out there while doing your installations, and also as well as keeping your customers safe at the same time. All right, just some quick reminders, quick announcements. Again, guys, we are broadcasting live to Facebook. So if your friends or your colleagues were not able to enter our Zoom meeting, please just log on to Facebook. It's TOA Electronics USA, and you'll see it on the main page there of the live feed going down. Also, it looks like this one has filled up pretty quickly. So again, there isn't any more links for our Zoom. Just log on to our Facebook. We'll be right on there, and we'll be ready to broadcast for you guys. All right, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for taking the time out. We really appreciate it. We know you guys are busy. This one is a short one, yet it's a very crucial one and a very exciting one. I have a special guest here from my team from TOA. His name is Andy, and Andy specializes in product support as well as he has a history in integration. So he's going to share some great points for us today on safety and staying safe out there during this current time. And quick reminder, guys, integrators, we are offering a 10% promotion on project registration. So if you guys have any projects out there, anything involving TOA gear that's lined up, we offer 10% off product registrations. So please keep that in mind. Also, we also offer an additional 10% for product certification. This involves intercom systems. So if you guys have intercom installations going on during these times, please reach out to us. We'll get you set up for that. So you can save up to 20% on new installations. We know how difficult it is out there to get sales currently. Just keep that in mind. Project registrations are 10% off. Please talk to your local sales representative on how to get that going if you're not aware. And product certification on intercom, which is offered by engineering, gets you an additional 10% off as well. So please utilize those. We all want to save here. We all want to do the best we possibly can. So let's get in this together, save some money, do those installations, and keep it going. Okay, guys, so let's get into the topic on commercial AV and safety. During these times, it's been very difficult. We're all changing. We all know what's going on. AV job safety has always been at the forefront, but now it's completely changed. Now it's immediately towards the front here. Let me just introduce myself before we get going. Again, guys, I'm Eric. I am also a host of the Sound Supply podcast. If you guys haven't checked it out already, it's a weekly podcast that we deliver to Facebook. You can also get it via mobile, which is strictly audio. We also upload it in HD video. So if you're on the road, if you're driving to work, if you're still out there, if you're still commuting, you can listen to these podcasts weekly. So please check those out. Again, that's our Sound Supply podcast. I have a big passion in audio. I began at TOA about 2 years ago. This has been my first introduction into commercial audio. I come from a pro audio background. I'm a DJ. I'm a music producer. Audio is just my love, and it has brought me to the commercial world. So I'm very happy to be here and very excited to be sharing that with you guys today. Let's bring in our guest. He'll introduce himself. Andy, you there?
Hey, how's it going, guys? So I'm Andy. I've been actually with TOA now, running close to 7 years. Prior to that, a lot of on-field installations. Started dabbling with commercial when I got into TOA, but I did a lot of residential, a lot of mobile. The grunt work to getting stuff done, to understanding what's going on behind the magic that we get installed and at the end of the day. But pleasure to meet everybody, and hopefully we can I can share some good tips with everybody and go over the safety precautions that we've come into nowadays, or extra safety precautions now.
There you go, Andy. And Andy, thanks for being here, man. Pleasure. Andy's very knowledgeable in product support, PSG. He's one of our guys on the front lines that answers phone calls, and he has a history in integration. So he knows what it's like to be out there in the field and get his hands dirty. And that's why we brought him in here to talk to you guys about what's currently going on. So Andy, let's get into it. Let's do a little Q&A here. And let's talk about what's going on. So, like I said, I mean, we've never been dealt with a public health crisis of this magnitude before. You know, when this came in, it halted us, and we weren't really sure what to do. I mean, everything began changing immediately, and you know, as time goes on, and we're about 6 or 7 months into this, things are becoming more relaxed. But a lot of businesses have made some major changes when it comes to integration,
Yeah.
and you know, it's all for the good. So we'll get into that. So let's start off with the first question. With your experience in integration, what further or special measures, excuse me, should AV pros be taking when entering and operating at a specific job location? So if you could just give us some examples, maybe some location examples, and ways around that, and what you have done, or what other businesses have done to implement and stay safe.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely, Eric. Well, for the most part, one thing that I've noticed nowadays, depending the location where you're operating at, right? It could be a school, could be your regular 9 to 5 office building where you have, guys like us when we're in the office working. You also have locations such as retail stores, Targets, food dining areas, Olive Gardens. So what's happened now that I've noticed that's changed a lot from the regular safety precautions, because as an installer, you're always kind of, taking safety steps to make sure that your equipment is good, the installation you're doing is going to run properly, that you're not, going through anything that's going to become a hazard in the future for further installations that they might add. But now, I mean, yeah, now you got a twist you got to add to it where you have to be careful. You have to wear a mask. They say the N95 is an excellent mask. Supposedly it's filters out 95% of the filters of the particles in the air. I've used them myself. They can get uncomfortable, sure, but we're taking the safety precaution now to prevent other people from getting sick and from us getting sick. So yeah, now I've run into situations where you want to ask how many people are going to be on hand. Is there going to be a full staff? People don't want to work next to each other anymore. Where I had to have a guy running one set of cables one day, and then I can come in a couple of hours later and run my equipment. I got to kind of wait. It's a day longer now. So jobs have become prolonged, so you're taking where you could complete a job in 2 or 3 days, maybe taking a week, 2 weeks now. Like I said, you have to watch out with everything you touch. Gloves, making sure that your eyes are protected. So yeah, the steps have become they've become a little bit tougher, but at the end I feel like it's we're here to protect each other, make sure that we can still get the job done in a safe manner where everybody's okay at the end of the day and can enjoy the installation that we put in.
Right. Yeah, definitely some good points. I've heard with the mask thing, and obviously those are mandatory. How comfortable can they be out there when you're wearing them 8 hours a day in heat, especially in New Jersey where it's very hot right now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see if they offer anything for that type of commercial wear where, there's companies out there maybe offering a more comfortable solution while providing that protection. I don't know if you've heard of any offhand, but I'm sure there's solutions out there for long-term use. We recommend not using disposable masks. If you are using disposable masks, make sure you're throwing them out after use, things like that. Exactly. If you're using reusable masks, make sure you're washing them after every single appointment. A lot goes hand in hand. You mentioned working around businesses. So like, for example, we'll use the 9 to 5 for an example. So,
okay. So
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. Yeah. So, obviously letting your clients know that you're, working around your schedule or working around their schedule is definitely going to be, it's going to be difficult. I understand that. But it might be, like you said, it might be better doing the installations after 5 p.m. or when somebody's not there. Maybe just having one client there, just overseeing the job, the less, the better, right? So go ahead.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, here, just a quick example. This guy's become my best friend now, this guy. Everywhere I go, I got to take this guy.
There he is.
And it's, like I said, a lot of times, it's not just a sign of courtesy, but also a sign of, you're aware of wanting to keep everybody safe. And to that degree, yeah, things have changed. Where we used to be able to come in during regular business hours. Now we got to talk to a manager, make sure that they don't have anybody there, or that they have somebody there to at least supervise where you're going. Um, of course, the safety precaution, come in with the mask. A lot of times, though, I mean, if you in a situation where you're working by yourself, or you're working with a trusted employee that you have some kind of background with, that you know him well, you can kind of relax a little bit. You don't have to have the mask on. But I have been in installations. For example, there was one gentleman, Japanese family that I went to go do some work for, and take your shoes off before you come in. So you had to wear the knitted socks to make sure that they don't like anything on the floor. And at the same token, as I was working on their house, I had to have a mask on. Just a sign that I saw that they were precautious about the feet and the shoes. I said, let me just keep the mask on just to make, and listen, as a sign of courtesy, not only did they appreciate that, but now you building a relationship with this customer where they feel safe.
Right.
And at the end of the job, and even during the job, he was telling me, listen, I know you're upstairs, you don't need to have the mask, I know it gets a little warm. And I didn't have a problem with it. Like I said, these material ones are not too bad. The disposable ones, like you said, can not only be bothersome, but after a while they become costly because you're throwing them out. You got to buy another box. You're throwing them out. You got to buy another box. So trying to keep costs down, I kind of befriended this the cloth one, which when I'm done using it, at the end of the day, you wash them off, put them back on. But it's been it's been tedious. You just got to stay on top of things. And like I said, the one benefit that I did see from it is that you build a good customer relations, and they trust you now. They know that you're going to do the right thing. They know that you're taking the right steps, and they kind of invite that back. They're not afraid of having you at their house or at their commercial location or at their business working, because they know how you work. They see the quality of how you take care of yourself and them, and it shows. They'll call you back. But
Okay.
it's been something new.
Yeah, good points. Coming from customer service, communication during these times is, I think, the most important part of the whole thing. And you mentioned relationships. That was something we talked about with our previous panelists going forward, is taking the time with your customers.
Yes.
And really digging in and understanding what their needs are. And this goes hand in hand with integration. I mean, you can't just show up there and just start working. I mean, it's just not going to work, you have to be in constant communication with your customers. And yes, that's gonna take time. But they're going to be seeing how you work and how you've changed, and what measures you've taken to stay safe. All these things go a long way. And eventually over time, it's going to get, close to where we used to be. But as long as you're taking those measures first in hand, safety first, and you and your customers are in constant communication, it's a win-win.
Of course.
They're seeing you work, trust is being built. And then, eventually down the road, you're talking about increased revenues, more jobs, and things like that.
It's natural. You got to figure you're the front man to your company. So when they see you represent everything, from the salesperson, from the website that they looked into, from the phone call, you're the man. So it's not only, like I said, is it a courtesy thing, but it's you're showing that the company you work for is well represented, that these guys know how to conduct things, and they know how to do things properly. And like you said, it's not, it's no more of those days of just ringing a doorbell and saying, hey, I'm here to install your equipment. Those days are done, man. Those days now, it's very and it's understood. This is we're trying to survive this thing and get through it. And like you said, come with a good outcome where things can little by little start normalizing again, and we can go back to it. But I think ultimately, I think this has affected us in a way of a positive change, where now people are more aware. Keep your hands clean. Don't touch your face. If you're using equipment that somebody else was using, make sure you clean your hands or clean the equipment. Make sure you put it all back together the same way. So it's, I think this was a real eye opener, to be honest with you. And I think it gives us a chance to to shine. It gives people a chance to show, hey, I can respect what's going on and still be able to conduct business.
Yeah,
So yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. Excellent points, Andy. Yeah, I mean, just to wrap that up, communication. I think developing some kind of scheduling system where you and
Yes.
your clients are kind of on the same page, maybe setting up some kind of portal. There's many ways we can do this to kind of keep everybody on the same page and ensure that you get the job done. Try to use less guys on the on the field or in the
Yes.
field, excuse me. Maybe take one vehicle at a time, things like that just eventually become normal, and operation gets safer, yet we're not losing effectiveness when we're doing these installations. So all
Exactly.
good points. Cool. All right, second question, Andy. We have 3 questions, guys, by the way. This is question number 2. Andy, what do you think AV job safety will look like as a whole post health crisis? So difficult question to answer. I get it. We don't
Yeah.
know what's gonna, we don't know what the future is gonna hold. But as time goes on, we're getting a feeling of where this is all going. I know from my standpoint, I'm starting to see it kind of. We use the word normal a lot, but it's kind of become this new thing where it's baked into what we do, right?
Yeah.
And that's how this is where we're going, and revenues are starting to pick up slowly. Things are starting to get back sort of to where they were, but we know things will pick up down the road. So yeah, just any pros, maybe some cons that you can think of in terms of where do you think we'll be at down the road?
I think it's really all going to be with us as the outside guys going into these businesses to build client confidence. That clients say, okay, I know what these guys are doing. I know how they conduct business. So I would say we're probably going to set a new industry standard to how to work
Good
in
point.
different
Good point.
locations, which would, after, like you said, the new normal, when things start getting into this trend that we're going to kind of break through and make, I think people will become more accepting of installers coming through their building, of people coming to integrate. People know that, all right, I got to keep a 6-foot distance from this gentleman so I don't, there's no maybes in the air. Um, you know, form, staying sharp. There's a lot of information of, is the mask working? Do you need glasses? You don't need glasses. How far do you, 6 feet, 18 feet? So I think as this whole thing plays out, and the more informed we are and the more we know about what we're dealing with, it'll just be easier to set the trend and keep it at a normal pace. So
Yeah.
now we'll know, okay, hey, if we're going to a school, you definitely have to come in, wear a mask until they isolate you, and then you can take the mask off. If you're going to a 9 to 5 office building, you're going to have to schedule the job after 6 because they don't want people working 9 to 5. Restaurants, maybe there's certain. Listen, when I first came home from the military, I started doing deliveries, and they have a certain protocol when you're doing deliveries in the city. You got to go around the back. They don't want you going through the front. So perhaps this is something that we as installers will have to start, seeing how it works, how these new policies and changes come into play. But I really think we're setting the trend on what's to come in the future.
Yeah, definitely. 2 words that I liked from you. You said client confidence. So in the beginning, I'm sure, let's put an example out there. Let's say there was an installation going on right when this hit. Those all halted, and down the road, these clients, these ones that were hesitant to get outside, people from the outside into their business and potentially spreading whatever, that's terrifying. So word of mouth, things like that, where a business will talk to a business. Hey, I got this installation in. They did a fantastic job. They were safe. They were clean. They were respectful. They were responsible. They were communicative. All these good things.
Yes.
And over time,
Yes.
like you said, it's just going to trickle down, and it's going to become this new standard of integration, and people will freely accept us coming into their business and doing these installs as safe as possible. And positive outlook, I think that'll definitely be the scenario. If it hasn't already begun, that's a great way to look at it. What about cons? What about like challenges? Anything you could think of?
I don't know. I mean, you're always gonna have you're always gonna have customers and clientele that is just, you know, nerve wrecked. They don't want to have it. They're, you know, even to this day, I see people that drive in the car, windows are up, they got the mask on. It's like, you know, so you're always gonna have, you know, it comes to a level of where the people fear that they're not in fear of something, and they're, hey, let's see how this works. Let's see if they can come in and
Right.
listen. Same way we did it. You know, when this whole first thing started, I was petrified to touch a handle. I didn't want to touch anything. You come to things, you grab your shirt to
Sure.
grab them to make sure you. You know, so what happens is after a while you ease off. Hey, you know what? I grabbed that handle. I'm okay. Maybe the handle's
And
all right. You know,
yeah,
you
and
still don't want.
everybody's different, right? And you have to,
Yeah.
right.
So it really all depends, you know, it really all depends on our safety precautions. Again, if we as an industry show professionalism, show that we can do things respectfully for our clients, it starts word of mouth. It starts over. Hey, you know what? These guys, they can do work. You know, they're fine. They come in, they have their mask, they have gloves, they stay away. Okay, let me give, you know. So if that's it, now the cons, the cons could be that people don't take safety precautions. The spreading continues, and say people, oh, you know what, this isn't working. But I gotta tell you, I just don't see it. I think that we, as a whole, are getting better. So I don't. The cons are there. There are always going to be negative things, of course. But I think as on an overall picture, we're getting better. I think things are
Good.
starting to pick up. People are starting to kind of like lose the fear a little bit and becoming a little bit more acceptance. This is becoming a new normal. So it's just, you know, it's who's willing to.
Might have lost Andy there. All right, guys, we may have lost Andy. Oh, there you are.
Oh,
You there, Andy?
there we go. Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, you're dropping out a little bit, but go ahead. We got you.
All right, no, so I was gonna say, cons that I would say would be like when this whole situation started, people couldn't get masks. They couldn't get the proper PPE to protect themselves and others. So that's where I think we'll have, if we bump into that situation again, we that may be a big jam in the business. But as long as we
Okay.
can stay safe, operate respectfully, keep communications open, and have that line of respect with clients, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine.
Okay. Good points. Good points. A couple cons that I was kind of thinking of, or challenges. I don't know if I'm gonna use the word cons, but maybe obstacles that you guys out there may be facing. And then again, guys, if you have any questions, we have the chat box wide open. Shoot them in. Andy or I will be more than happy to answer them. Facebook, same thing. Please use the comment section. Shoot us a message or shoot us a DM. We can follow up via email after the webinar. A couple challenges that I was kind of thinking of, things that are, that have been affected as an industry as a whole, especially on the integration side, is time. Obviously, time is
Oh
money,
yeah.
so there's going to be ways to get around that, but you're gonna you'd have to set aside some more time to plan and work around and how you can get the most out of your time. We have to use less people in the job, so does that require a follow-up visit? Does it require multiple visits? Obviously, there's more money involved now, so there's going to be a lot of planning, more additional planning, but in the long run, it's going to save you, obviously. So time is definitely going to be affected. Speed, same thing with time, how fast a job usually takes as opposed to now. I'm sure you guys out there have done numbers from your installs before the current situation to your installs now, and I'm sure they've been longer, or you're working to get back to where you were based on the new methods that you guys have been utilizing out there, which is fantastic. Additional resources. Andy mentioned equipment, PPE gear, excuse me. It could be additional personnel. It could be additional gear. Could be less gear. You're going to be budgeting during this time. Things are going to be canceled out. Things are going to be either added or taken away. Andy, did you want to say something there?
Yeah, well, I was going to tell you, I'm actually going through that at the moment with a customer of mine that
Okay.
I used to be able to come in and work for several hours and get things done with a partner. And they actually said, listen, if you can come by yourself or limit it that you come one day, he comes the following day,
Right.
I just don't want to have too many people in the house. And I said, listen, that's fine. I just explained to them, which, like you said, communication, big key to keeping a successful relationship going. Customers or anything. It's just that, I told them, listen, it's going to take a little bit extra. Where I might have been able to finish this by Friday. You're going to have to give me a couple of extra days.
Yeah.
And the customer was fully aware and they understood it. Listen, safety comes first. So if the job is prolonged, it's a con, because yes, I would like to have started another job by the next week, but it is what it is. We got to take care of what we got. And yes,
Yeah.
that is true.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Job,
right. I'm sure you had, with less jobs comes more time as well. So
yeah.
we had this opportunity to kind of morph ourselves into this new operation, which is good. So, we were able to get more time, but then lose more time. But it's like this balancing act.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been utilizing their time, whether it be to optimize integration services or to become a better customer service representative, whatever it is, use this time wisely, because it is very, very crucial. All right, Andy, just to wrap it up, last thing here, just 3 main points, that you can let our AV integration world out there know that, what they can do to, if you could just say 3 main things to keep in the back of their minds, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to make sure that you guys stay informed. Anything new that comes out, to clean yourself, to keep yourself as safe and not sick or make anybody else sick as possible. Watch your clothing. Make sure that your clothing is you're not getting you're not going into infected areas and then carrying that into another area that might be clean. So keep yourself clean. Keep your PPE clean. And keep yourself just hygienically correct. Wash your hands after an installation. So basically, here's with the 3: communication, stay informed, and keep yourself clean. That's it.
Beautiful.
Communication with your customers, keep yourself informed of the situation at hand, and keep yourself clean for your courtesy and for the courtesy of others. That's pretty much it.
Right on, right on. I would say, yep, communication for me, excuse me, would be the number one thing that I would keep in the back of my mind. I mean, the safety thing is it's becoming second nature. It's
Yes.
becoming, you don't leave the house without a mask, or you don't leave without washing your hands. Those things are kind of like a learned habit. But as long as you're in communication with your clients and you let them know what's going on at all times, and they're on the same page as you, it's going to make life so much easier. You're going to have great reviews, great word of mouth, and your business will begin to improve over time. Great.
Yes, that's
great,
absolutely
great
correct.
points. All right, guys. Andy, thank you so much. We're not done yet, though. Just hang tight. If you guys have any questions, once again, please use the chat. We're going to close it out here, but we will follow up with any DMs regarding safety and integration. Andy or I would be more than happy to be able to answer those for you guys. Also, guys, we'll be posting this webinar and all of our videos, including Sound Supply, which is our podcast, to our Facebook page. Make sure you guys keep an eye out there. Spread the love. We have a ton of videos now. We've been doing live videos and webinars, podcasts, everything that we bring to you guys, you have requested out there. So we appreciate the feedback. Keep it up. We want to thank you guys again for spending the time with us today. We really appreciate it. When I end the webinar today, you'll have a brief survey that's going to pop up and let you guys know what you think, what we can talk about in the future. Again, we do these things based on your feedback, and we're very happy to bring them to you guys. We're very excited here to be doing this for you. So once again, just to wrap it up, every week we are releasing a podcast that is Sound Supply, that it's including myself. We have brought guests from all over the country, from all over the industry, to chime in and spread their knowledge, spread their love, spread their concern, and it's AV professionals helping AV professionals. That's what we're doing. And then we have the webinar, which is usually towards the end of the month, recorded live like we're doing right now, midweek around 2 p.m. Eastern time. So we make those announcements on Facebook, so be on the lookout for that. Another reminder, guys, 10% off on project registration involving TOA gear. Please keep that in mind. Big savings and product certification involving our intercom systems, which is an additional 10%, excuse me, which would give you 20% total, which is pretty awesome. All right, guys. Andy, thanks again, man. Thanks for stopping in. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. As always, my name is Eric, product specialist here at TOA. If you guys have any questions, comments, whatever you guys got, please shoot us a DM, shoot us an email, call us. Andy and I will pick up the phone. You'll be speaking to us directly. We'd love to chat with you guys. And, you know, we're here for you. So take care, and thanks for stopping in.
Be safe out there. Yep.